On June 22nd, 2026, Lee Ju-hee posted a video laughing with her husband and child. And, I mean, if you were one of her 120,000 followers, this was just the comforting, continuous rhythm you expected from her.
Right, it's just a normal day on the timeline.
Exactly. She was chatting with fans, sharing the vibrant details of her everyday life, and actively maintaining this community she had spent years building. But then, just 48 hours later, her official account posted her obituary.
Wow, just like that.
Yeah, she had passed away unexpectedly at just 44 years old. So the timeline went from these intimate family videos to an outpouring of profound collective grief, literally almost overnight.
The sheer whiplash of that transition is something our brains are, like, barely equipped to handle.
Oh, absolutely.
It completely shatters the illusion of this constant, curated presence that we all just take for granted when we open our phones. I mean, when an active daily presence vanishes, that suddenly, it doesn't just disrupt a feed.
Right, it's bigger than that.
It is. It completely upends the emotional equilibrium of a massive digital community.
And that profound disruption is exactly what we are unpacking in today's deep dive. We are combining the breaking news reports surrounding the tragic passing of this pioneering female entrepreneur with a really revealing 2024 academic study from Frontiers in Psychology.
Yeah, the Chen Lu and Chuan Zhu study. It's a fantastic paper.
It really is. And the goal here isn't just to report on a tragedy. We want to explore the legacy of a creator who built an empire from the ground up and to dissect the highly strategic, often hidden architecture behind building a human brand.
Right, and ultimately to uncover the severe psychological toll of digital labor, because it's an exploration of a landscape that you, the listener, participate in every single time you scroll, like, or comment.
Exactly. We are constantly interacting with these human brands, often completely blind to the immense machinery and the immense pressure operating just on the other side of the screen.
So true.
So let's ground this by looking at who Lee Ju-hee actually was. Because if you just hear the word influencer, you might picture someone, I don't know, chasing viral dance trends.
Right, doing TikTok challenges or something.
Yeah, but that wasn't her. She was a true first-generation pioneer in this space. She leveraged her online community to found a highly legitimate fashion brand called Aav Collection, sometimes referred to as Aav Collection back in 2019.
And she didn't have massive corporate backing or some big agency manufacturing her image either.
No, not at all.
Her trajectory is fascinating because she was actively engineering a business model when the blueprint for doing so barely even existed.
Right, she was writing the rules.
Exactly. The reporting notes she faced a career break due to childbirth, despite actually having a background in fashion. But she didn't let that stop her. She secured a 45 million won loan to just start her business from scratch.
And she didn't just slap her name on mass-produced garments. You know, the main appeal was her absolute rigorous transparency.
Oh, the transparency was key.
Yeah, she was personally visiting global fabric fairs. She secured deals with the exact same fabric suppliers used by high-end luxury brands, and she took her audience along for the ride. She documented that entire production process online.
So you didn't just buy a shirt.
Right. You didn't just buy a shirt. You bought into the journey of the woman making the shirt.
Which heavily explains the depth of the grief following her passing. I mean, the condolences came flooding in from celebrities like Jun-hee, Park Hyun-seon, and Kim Song.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of high-profile recognition.
Definitely. But perhaps the most telling tribute came from the production team of the CBS lecture program Sebasi, which translates to Time to Change the World. 15 minutes.
Oh, right. She spoke there, didn't she?
She did. She gave a deeply impactful lecture there in December 2020. The theme was How to Transform into the Person You Want to Be in 5 Years.
It's a great title.
It is. And the Sebasi team publicly recalled the raw confidence and courage she transmitted to the audience that day. She told them to have confidence and dream wild dreams every single day, and then advised them to break those massive dreams down into small, actionable steps.
So she wasn't just selling clothes. She was actively motivating people to pursue their own agency.
Exactly. And that dual role, the aspirational CEO and the relatable motivator, is the absolute core of her legacy. She was motivating countless people while simultaneously carrying the weight of a highly visible business.
I want to pause and challenge something right there, though.
Okay, go for it.
When I look at Lee Ju-hee's story, I see someone who had to invent the rules of online community building from scratch. But how does an individual successfully blur the line between a private, personal life and a corporate entity?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right. I mean, psychologically, how do you become a business without losing your humanity in the eyes of your audience? If you are the product, where does the brand end and the human begin?
Well, that boundary or, the intentional lack thereof is the exact mechanism explored in that 2024 study by Chen Liu and Xuan Zhu from Nanyang Technological University.
Okay, let's get into this study.
So they wanted to understand the psychological architecture of these massive followings. We are all familiar with traditional parasocial relationships, right?
Sure, like the affection you feel for a famous actor or a stadium-level pop star.
Right, but those are hierarchical.
Yeah, the celebrity is on a pedestal behind a velvet rope. You know them, but they don't have a clue that you exist.
Precisely. It's a one-way street. But
Okay.
the researchers identified that influencers operate on a completely different psychological plane, which they call the trans-parasocial relation.
Trans-parasocial, okay.
Yeah. This isn't hierarchical, it's flat, it is bidirectional, and it's co-created. The intimacy feels incredibly profound because the audience isn't just watching a broadcast, they feel like they are actively participating in a dialogue.
So if the old model is waving at a celebrity on a distant balcony, the trans-parasocial model is like the celebrity unlocking their front door, inviting you into their living room, and asking what you think of their new couch.
That's a great way to put it, and then actually buying the couch you suggested.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's the reciprocity that makes it so potent. This study highlights that influencers engineer this bond by consistently providing tangible value.
Tangible value like what? Like content.
Well, it could be content value, like a highly produced tutorial, but it also includes monetary value, like hosting giveaways.
Let's dig into the psychology of that for a second. Why do giveaways matter beyond just, getting free stuff? Is it some sort of psychological tripwire?
It absolutely is. In human evolutionary psychology, gift-giving triggers a deeply ingrained sense of reciprocity. When an influencer gives something away, the primitive part of the follower's brain doesn't process it as a corporate promotion.
Oh, interesting. What does it process it as?
It processes it as a favor from a friend, and humans are wired to return favors. In the digital space, that return payment is unwavering loyalty and constant engagement.
That makes total sense. It builds this foundation of debt, but like a warm communal debt.
Exactly.
But it goes deeper than just exchanging items, right? Because they also act as emotional sounding boards.
They really do. The researchers found that influencers actively position themselves as reliable confidants. They listen to their followers' struggles, and they offer genuine empathy.
Give me an example of that.
Well, one influencer in the study described actively coaching a follower through a really painful breakup, literally reminding them of their self-worth.
Wait, they are essentially providing unlicensed digital therapy.
Pretty much, yeah.
That seems incredibly dangerous. Our brains evolved to form deep tribal bonds through that exact kind of emotional vulnerability.
Yep.
If an influencer is playing the role of a therapist to thousands of people simultaneously, the audience's brains must be completely failing to distinguish this digital entity from an actual physical friend.
You've hit the exact friction point right there. The brain's social wiring is basically being hijacked by the medium, and the influencers cement this illusion by continually disclosing their personal lives.
Right, the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah, they share the mundane daily routines, their family moments, the messy kitchen counter. One influencer quoted in the study said they do this specifically to give insight into their life so they, quote, don't feel like a robot to these people.
And we see that exact multi-layered identity reflected so clearly in Lee Ju-hee's obituary.
Oh, absolutely.
Her family didn't just announce the passing of a CEO. They explicitly noted that she was loved as a precious companion to a man, a mother to a child, and as the head of Aav Collection.
They really highlighted all her role.
Yeah, she was integrated into her followers' lives as a mother and a wife. They really felt like they were mourning a neighbor.
Because to their primitive social wiring, they were mourning a neighbor. That total integration is what makes a human brand so incredibly powerful and resilient.
But isn't that intimacy fundamentally a trap?
How do you mean?
Well, if your absolute superpower as a brand is sharing your private world like Lee, posting family videos just 2 days before her sudden death, how does an influencer ever truly clock out?
That's the thing. They don't.
Right. If your product is your personal life, then living your life becomes an endless shift at the factory.
It is an exhausting, invisible factory. And that brings us to how influencers attempt to survive it. Because what looks to you like a spontaneous, unfiltered sharing of a personal life is actually a meticulously curated performance. Yes, The researchers found that influencers rely on a very specific set of guiding principles to protect their sanity while maintaining this illusion of spontaneity.
The illusion of spontaneity. That is such a vivid way to describe it. So they aren't just hitting record when the mood strikes.
Far from it. Everything is filtered through the lens of strategic authenticity. They have to strike this microscopic balance. If they accept every single sponsorship, they just become a walking billboard.
Right, and the audience sniffs out the greed and the intimacy dies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One creator noted that if they overpromote, we lose our own personality, and people do not like that. So they actively reject lucrative deals that don't perfectly align with this specific persona they've built.
So they are essentially curating their own purity.
Yes, exactly.
But what about real-world events? We live in a highly polarized time. If they're supposed to be my authentic friend, surely my friend has opinions on the news, right?
And that leads to the next protective mechanism, strict topic sensitivity. Influencers intentionally steer clear of controversial topics, particularly politics and religion, because it's just too risky.
Right. As one influencer vividly described in the study, it's a never-ending game. If you take a stand, a massive segment of your audience will instantly bash you. It introduces friction into a space that is designed to be totally frictionless and comforting.
But doesn't that make the whole concept of a human brand a bit of an oxymoron?
What do you mean?
Well, if an influencer is actively censoring their views on real-world issues just to avoid alienating a demographic, they aren't being fully human. They're acting like a corporate mascot. They're basically Ronald McDonald, just dressed in aesthetically pleasing beige loungewear.
That is a hilarious image, but you're right. That is the existential tension they live with every single day. They have to appear completely genuine while constantly self-censoring.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. And the pressure to never make a mistake is suffocating. The study highlights the intense burden of fact-checking literally everything they post.
Because one wrong link completely shatters the illusion.
Exactly. The researchers shared the story of an influencer who reposted a donation page for Ukraine during the height of the conflict. 5 minutes later, they realized the charity wasn't properly vetted.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. The sheer panic that followed, they had to immediately take it down and issue corrections because missteps in authenticity instantly destroy the credibility they've spent years cultivating.
Okay, but if they are constantly self-censoring and fact-checking every little thing,
Yeah.
how do they maintain that deep transparasocial intimacy we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
You said their main tool was disclosing their personal life.
And this is the ultimate paradox of the influencer world. They utilize what the researchers call the strategic sharing of privacy.
Strategic sharing of privacy.
Yeah. They appear to share everything, but they are actually setting incredibly rigid, invisible boundaries.
I want to make sure I understand this. It's like they are building a movie set of their own life. When the audience looks at the front, it looks like a fully functioning, beautiful house.
Right.
But if you try to open the front door, you just find wooden scaffolding and sandbags. They're giving you the facade of access.
That is a perfect analogy. They will film a beautiful family dinner, but they will absolutely refuse to share details about a fight with their partner or their actual financial struggles.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. One influencer quoted in the study stated, they keep relationship details completely private out of respect that there are other people and other parties involved. They give you the aesthetic of intimacy without the messy reality of it.
Which brings us back to my earlier realization. If the authenticity is heavily curated, the opinions are censored, and the privacy is staged like a movie set, what is the psychological toll of operating that machinery?
It's massive.
It has to be like emotional strip mining. You are constantly digging into your own life to extract content.
Emotional strip mining is an incredibly accurate way to frame it, and it shifts our perspective to the darkest, most critical aspect of the study. We have to stop viewing influencers as lucky celebrities and start viewing them as digital labor.
Digital labor. Wow. That completely strips away the glamour.
It really does.
It reframes them from being digital royalty to being a highly vulnerable workforce.
And they are a workforce subject to intense exploitation. The concept of digital labor examines how platforms extract immense value and profit from users' often unpaid or underpaid labor.
Right.
Behind the free clothes and the luxury resort tags, these creators are constantly struggling in a system designed to exploit them.
Where's that exploitation coming from mostly? The brands.
The brands are a massive source of it. The study details severe unfair treatment. Influencers report being constantly lowballed financially.
Really? Even the big ones?
Yes. Corporate clients treat them as an easy and cheap way of getting things done. They are locked into these vaguely worded contracts that demand endless reshoots, revisions, and extended usage rights, often without fair compensation.
So they have all the responsibilities of a full production agency, but are treated like disposable freelancers. So you have these demanding corporate clients squeezing them from the top. But surely the community they built, the people who view them as a digital friend, provides a safe haven from that.
Tragically, no. And this is where the transparasocial bond becomes a weapon.
A weapon.
Yeah, because the influencers narrate their lives and invite the audience into their living room, they are continually subject to mass public scrutiny and networked hate.
Networked hate. You mean when a few negative comments suddenly snowball into an avalanche of abuse?
Yes, because the audience feels a profound sense of ownership over the influencer.
Oh, that makes sense.
The study details how followers feel entitled to comment toxic things about an influencer's weight gain, their parenting choices, or accuse them of being fake. There's this brilliant, terrible analogy from the research regarding this public hunting.
What is it?
One influencer noted that the more famous you are, the more people actively look for a noodle stain on your shirt.
A noodle stain.
Yeah.
So they aren't looking at the outfit. They're zooming in to find the one unavoidable human imperfection just so they can tear you down for it.
Exactly. They are hunting for proof that you aren't the perfect avatar you claim to be.
I am having a massive realization here.
Tell me.
The very tools used to build the brand, the constant interaction, the emotional support, the disclosure of their daily routine are the exact same mechanisms that open the door to psychological destruction.
Yes.
By making the audience feel like they are your close friends, you are directly inviting in their toxic entitlement. You can't give thousands of strangers a key to your house and then be surprised when they start criticizing your furniture.
And you can't kick them out because they are paying your mortgage.
Oh, wow.
The psychological toll of living in that paradox is crushing. The researchers found that influencers suffer from a relentless daily pressure to remain relevant. They have to constantly churn out high-quality, relatable content while maintaining a very specific, unchanging aesthetic.
That has to lead to profound identity confusion. I mean, who are you when the camera is off?
One influencer's admission in the study was perfectly, tragically ironic. They confessed, "Most of the times I'm actually dressed like super casual, but on my Instagram you see me dressing up and all that. I feel stressed like I'm not being who I am online."
Let that sink in. I feel stressed like I'm not being who I am online. The digital avatar has become the primary identity, and the actual human being feels like an imposter in their own sweatpants.
It's heartbreaking. They become trapped inside the very human brand they built to gain their freedom.
And while the specific cause of Lee Ju-hee's sudden passing hasn't been disclosed, and we definitely won't speculate on it, her shocking loss forces us all to look at the immense, invisible pressures of the industry she helped pioneer.
Absolutely.
She was out there blazing a trail before anyone really knew where the path led. She was building a massive brand, being a mother, a wife, a CEO, and dealing with all the hidden, exhausting labor that requires.
Her story is a sobering, critical reminder that behind every seamlessly curated human brand is, ultimately, just a human. One who is dealing with precarious working conditions, the total erosion of boundaries between work and rest, and the staggering emotional labor of managing hundreds of thousands of digital relationships.
It fundamentally changes how we need to view the internet. And I want to bring this directly to you, the listener. The next time you are scrolling through your feed, the next time you're about to leave a quick, flippant comment on a creator's page, or even just passively watch their daily vlog, take a single second to pause.
Just 1 second.
Ask yourself, do you remember that you are interacting with a vulnerable digital laborer? Or do you just see a polished human brand that exists purely to provide you with content?
It's a vital shift in perspective. Once you see the scaffolding holding up the movie set, you literally can't unsee the labor it takes to build it.
So true.
Yeah.
And it leads me to a final lingering thought for you to mull over after we finish today.
Let's hear it.
As technology rapidly advances, as AI makes it easier and cheaper to completely manufacture human brands from scratch, digital avatars that never get tired, never complain about lowball corporate contracts, never say the wrong thing about a sensitive topic, and never age, will society eventually just prefer these perfectly curated, controversy-free virtual influencers over real, messy, unpredictable human beings?
That is a terrifying thought.
And if we do, what happens to the real people, the pioneers like Lee Ju-hee, who traded their privacy and their peace of mind to build the foundations of the digital economy?
That is the incredibly daunting next frontier we're going to have to face.
Something to think deeply about the next time your timeline goes suddenly shockingly still. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.